Hi, I'm back again. Uh, I was sharing a memory with my mom. Um, she's my stepmom, but she's my mom, and her name is Carol. And I was sharing with her the memory of my dad when he scared my sister and I in the bathtub. It was getting close to being Halloween, and my sister and I were taking a bath together. I mean, we were little, so take your pervert minds and put them somewhere else because they don't belong here on this page. But again, um, besides that, so we were taking a bath and we were, getting washed up and everything. And the next thing you know, everything is still quiet. I mean, we, of course, we were going on, didn't think about anything else in the world but playing in the water and stuff and getting, yeah, come on, Kelly, let's get to the point. All right. So he, uh, he snuck around with the Dracula mask and scared the total shit out of us. I mean, we were like screaming above the top of our lung. I mean, if our lung actually probably popped out, that's how scared and terrified we were. Even though, he took it off saying, "Oh no, oh no, it's me, it's me, it's me, it's me," and you know, then we realized it was Dad. But then at the end of this, he also mentioned it too about how I believe he said that uh, my biological mother, she was pretty upset about it at him for doing that. So, um, but my dad, when I was little, loved Halloween. He was in theaters. He was in theater when he was younger, and he liked doing makeup. He was a pretty good makeup artist. I mean, during my mom and my dad at the time when I was little, when we lived in Pacoima, in Terabella, my mom and my dad made this Halloween scene with cut out tombstones out of plywood, and Uncle Roger was there, and he my dad played Dracula, and I think my mom was a bitch witch. No, I didn't mean bitch. I mean yeah. Okay, so again, my mom was dressed as a witch, I believe, and then Uncle Roger was dressed as a wolf, and my dad did an amazing job on Uncle Roger's wolf makeup. It was unbelievable, but we actually we had this backdrop that looked like a castle, and it had like two torches on the side with this gate that's in the middle and everything, and it looked like it was brick. They made it they painted this tarp that was just gorgeous, and then my of course they did the tombstones, and the tombstones had funny sayings on them. I wish I remembered what they were, but I don't, so forgive me. And then my dad actually made a Dracula coffin, a wooden box, you know um, for the whole set. And then we had this little, where the kids would come up and get the candy out of the cauldron, and then of course, my dad would wake up and start getting closer and closer, and Roger would get all crazy as a wolf, like he's trying to break out of his chains. And so yeah, so it was cool. And I believe the first time I dressed up as Snoopy, and I don't recall the second time, but there was another. I think it was the second year that my dad and my mom did this thing, and my dad actually took me out to trick or treat. And my dad, what he would do was we would walk down the street, and he'd have me inside his cape, as we were walking down. And by the way, my mom did a great job on this cape. This cape was magnificent. It's probably somewhere in this house. I don't know, but it's the cape is amazing. I mean, my mom is a very crafty person, woman, and she. So get back to the point. So my dad was taking me trick or treating, and he'd hide me in his cape as he was walking alongside me, and because he always had me in front of him, no matter what we. That's another subject for another day. But um, so he would undo his cape, and I would walk out. I'd go up to the door. I'd get my candy, and he would stand there looking at the parents that were giving out candy. The people, right? And of course, I'd walk down right next to him and get right back into to his perimeter, where he would then take his cape, and as he was looking at him, he would close it and just walk on by again to the next house. It was great. I mean, I think he said there was this one time he was talking to some cholos, I believe, at the time, because they thought, what they were doing, what we were doing at the time was pretty cool, and I wish I remembered that story as well as he would be able to say it, but it was an interesting conversation, and they thought that he was doing a pretty good job. My dad enjoyed that. Um, yeah, so it was great. My dad and my mom were very creative together, and when we moved to Ohio, we did the same thing, and we actually were a talk of the town. I mean, people were literally coming to the house to check out what my dad was doing there, and of course we had the tombstones out, and he'd play the music and everything. We had that Disney album where the haunted house, the creeps and everything like that. There was this awesome LP at the time. Um, so yeah, he would play that, and uh, again, my dad was dad and grandpa. Grandpa was a very talented person when it came to dress up and makeup. He was excellent. He enjoyed the theater when he was younger. He was magnificent, that I've been told. He had very good success. And my dad would tell me about him learning his scripts. I mean, he was trained. He was taught not only to learn his lines, but he had to learn the lines of other people, and he was really excellent in his class. And I always asked Dad, "So how did you learn how to memorize that?" And of course, he never really gave me a straight answer on how he was able to do it. But everyone has their own mind and a certain way of doing things. So it was, he was just magnificent in that, and I always enjoyed him talking about it. Um, my dad could almost recite the entire line of Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan. I mean, the man knows the word for word. I mean, he could probably do the entire movie with you without even having the movie in or on the TV. So, but yeah, my dad likes Star Trek. So, I know I've probably made this a little longer than I normally do, but I had this memory on my mind, and I just wanted to share it with you. And I hope that you're enjoying this as much as I am. Um, as I'm here in California right now, there's a lot of flooded memories, and I believe that you know myself and my mom, my stepmom Carol. I'm just saying that so that you know who I'm talking about, and so she's been very brave, and it's hard. This loss is this loss has taken us, the air out of you. So when I first got here, and I told my mom, my biological mom, her name is Kathy, and I told her on the phone. It felt like a vacuum had came into this house and just sucked the life out of this this house. It just didn't seem like he was here anymore. No, like residue, residual. You know, um, how someone has a certain persona, a personality. It leaves. I think it leaves a certain essence in the house, and it just seemed like it was gone. It just, and that was hard. That part for me was really hard to realize that he was gone. And I'll be honest with you, the only the I grieve in a certain way. I'm different. Everyone's different. You can't judge one person on how one person grieves and compare it to how you may grieve. I mean, it's different for everybody. But my psychologist said that I had a good grasp on death and stuff like that. And the one thing she taught me was not Even though I may think a certain way, I can't expect other people to think that way either. And I learned that. But the point I'm trying to make is that um, even we go back to the life being sucked out of the room. Um, where was I going with this? I can't even remember now. I got sidetracked. Let's see. Um, let's see if I can remember what it was I was trying to say. Um, oh yes, I remember now. What really tears me apart in all this, my dad not being able to see his grandchildren. Um, Connor, Zion, Zarius, your opa or grandpa, whatever he wanted to be called, grandpa. But um, this whole time we were, going by opa. He loved you guys a whole lot, and it tore me up inside that he wasn't able to see you, especially Zion and Zarius. And that's what just tears me up about this whole thing about him passing on, is that he didn't have to, or didn't get to experience what I have already with being with Zion and Zarius and Connor. Um, I just, he talked about it, he hoped about it, and just for me, the fact that he was never going to do that is really hard. And just wanted to share that with you for Connor and Zion and Zarius. Um, I was very proud of Connor. He wrote a letter to Opa that I read at the funeral, and one thing that my dad taught me as I was growing up, that he said he always wanted me to be a better version of himself. And I loved how Connor, how you not even knowing your Opa very well, you said that he was a good man and that you wanted to be better. And for you to know that already is just the living essence of my dad and your grandpa. And I hope that you become a better version of your own father or your own parents. And I believe you will, even though you drive me crazy sometimes. Oh man, but I was just so impressed that you knew that without even knowing the man or knowing your grandpa as well as I do. And I'm always very encouraged by when you talk to me about what you want to do, and even though sometimes I may not understand where you get your inspiration from, even though I may be a little prejudiced at first, but then I open my mind and realize, you're being encouraged, and if you're being encouraged, then I can't take that away from you or say differently about that. And I just want you to know that I'm very proud that you already know that. And I hope to see it. So, yeah, maybe I went a little too far with the emotional part. So if I made you cry, I hope that you cried with happiness, not with sadness, because that's not it's not sad. It just means that he's living, inside of us. And that I hope that with Zion and Zarius, that you guys, even Connor, you have this too with the kid, with your brother and sister. I hope that you guys will be close as uh, you are, as I am with your mom, Casey, my sister. We have a strong bond. Even sometimes we may get a little frustrated with one another. We're always there for one another, and I hope that for you. I hope that, you know, down the road, if you get frustrated or mad with one another, that you get over it and just respect one another, and realize that it's okay for other people or your brother or your sister to have a difference of opinion, and to respect that. Um, don't judge one another for it, because you're all unique and individual. As my great grandmother said, if we were all the same, the world would be a boring place. That was great grandma Ma taught that to me. So, um, sorry, I'm not sorry, but you know, yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed this memory, as I did, and I will get back to you again, probably tomorrow, because tomorrow's Thanksgiving, and Grandpa, your grandpa, my dad. I just, like I say, I'm just trying to say so that you guys know who I'm talking to, or who I'm trying to convey these messages to. Um, Grandpa loved Thanksgiving, and that he's not here, it's kind of hard. And even though sometimes I didn't want to cook dinner, he taught me how to do it. But I'll talk about that tomorrow. Okay. So again, thank you for watching. I appreciate it so much, and I hope that you learned a little something about me and who I am. And you have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon.